Have you ever woken up with achy legs, stiff joints, or just a general feeling of discomfort, even when you think you're eating well, like having eggs for breakfast? You're definitely not alone. Millions of people over 60 start their day with eggs, believing they're making a really good, nutritious choice. And, in many respects, they are. Eggs are packed with protein, vitamins, and those healthy fats that give your body and mind a boost. But here's a bit of a surprise. The wrong food combinations can turn this seemingly perfect food into a sneaky source of inflammation, joint pain, and even make it harder to move around. Think about eggs paired with crispy bacon or savory sausage. For many, especially those over 60, that smell of bacon sizzling or sausage browning brings back memories, maybe of big family breakfasts or easy Sunday mornings. Eating Eurostraight is a comforting tradition. But what if this favourite combo, something you Eurostraight enjoyed for years, is quietly contributing to that joint pain, like stiffness or general discomfort you feel throughout the day? Processed meats, while tasty, often contain high levels of sodium, nitrates, and artificial preservatives, and saturated fats. These ingredients, when processed by your body, can trigger inflammation. For older adults, whose bodies might be more sensitive and whose natural detoxification processes have slowed, this inflammatory response can be particularly strong. The sodium can cause water retention, putting extra pressure on your joints, while nitrates and preservatives can further irritate your system. Saturated fats can contribute to inflammatory markers circulating in your bloodstream, potentially targeting areas like your knees, hips, and ankles. Eggs, while nutritious, contain sulfur-based compounds. When combined with nitrates and fats from processed meats, this can elevate uric acid levels in the blood, which is linked to gout, a condition known for intense joint pain and swelling. You might not feel it immediately, but maybe eat a Eurostraight as a subtle ache after breakfast, a heaviness in your legs later, or a flare-up in the afternoon. Because the effects build up gradually, eat a Eurostraight is easy to miss the connection between that plate of bacon and eggs and how your body feels later. Aging naturally affects circulation, especially in your legs, feet, and ankles. This makes these areas more vulnerable to inflammation and reduced nutrient delivery. When you add a breakfast high in inflammatory triggers, the result can be a noticeable decline in how you move and feel. Maybe while you're walking slower, your legs feel heavy, or you're noticing tingling in your feet. Eat a Eurostraight is tempting to blame it on age, but diet plays a significant role. So, next time you're tempted by bacon with your eggs, consider, is that brief pleasure worth a day of stiffness, soreness, or swelling? Now, let's think about another breakfast staple: toast, a muffin, or a bagel with your eggs. For many, these carbs are comforting, reminding them of quiet mornings or quick bites before work. Yet, as we get older, these choices can start working against us, especially with eggs. Refined carbs like white bread and store-bought muffins are heavily processed, removing fiber and nutrients. They digest quickly, causing a rapid spike in blood sugar. This triggers your immune system, releasing inflammatory chemicals. Over time, these repeated spikes can fuel chronic, low-grade inflammation, affecting joints and muscles. Pair these refined carbs with eggs, which are nutrient-dense but slower to digest due to their protein and fat content, and you create a meal that's heavy and sluggish. This can amplify inflammation in your gut, which is already working harder as you age. Inflammation has spread through the bloodstream, settling in areas with compromised circulation, like your knees and feet. That bagel you enjoyed at 7:00 a.m. could be the sneaky cause of stiffness in your legs by noon or swelling in your feet by dinner. Consider the story of a woman named Sarah who loved starting her day with a bagel and eggs. She gradually noticed increased stiffness in her hands and feet. After consulting with a nutritionist and cutting out refined carbs, she found significant relief in her joint pain. This highlights how seemingly small dietary changes can significantly impact overall well-being. Finally, let a Eurostraight talk about cheesy omelets or eggs with melted cheese. Cheese has been a breakfast companion for generations, and its creamy texture and satisfying flavor make it a natural match for eggs. But as we age, some of the foods we Eurostraight adored for years stop returning the favor. Processed cheese, especially, can quietly transform from a friend into foe, particularly when paired with eggs. Most processed cheeses are loaded with saturated fats, artificial additives, and casein, all of which can challenge an aging digestive system. Eating Eurostraight is difficult for your body to break down heavy, fatty foods, and combining cheese with eggs creates a meal that sits like a brick in your stomach. This can spark inflammation, which then spreads throughout the body, often zeroing in on areas like your knees and ankles. You might not connect the cheesy breakfast to the stiffness in your joints later, but the link is there. Consider the case of a man named Tom who enjoyed a daily cheesy omelette. He started experiencing persistent knee pain. After reducing his dairy intake and opting for healthy fats, he noticed a marked improvement in his joint comfort. What might seem like a simple pleasure could actually be laying the groundwork for joint discomfort and sluggish circulation. So, before you reach for that cheese, consider whether the satisfaction is worth the strain it puts on your body. Now, let's talk about nightshades. These include familiar vegetables like tomatoes, bell peppers, white potatoes, and eggplant. These ingredients often find their way into your morning omelette, roasted as a side dish, or layered into a savory breakfast casserole alongside eggs. They seem healthy, but for some, they harbor a hidden troublemaker called solanine. While 80 euros trade is not a problem for everyone, it can act like a stealthy saboteur in bodies that are sensitive to it, a sensitivity that often emerges or intensifies as we age. This chemical can irritate nerve endings, spark inflammation in tissues, and exacerbate existing aches, particularly in the joints and lower body. The catch is that this reaction can be so subtle it's easy to miss the connection. Imagine enjoying a hearty breakfast of eggs scrambled with diced tomatoes and peppers, feeling satisfied and nourished. Hours later, though, your knees feel stiffer than usual, or there's a faint burning sensation in your calves as you climb the stairs. You might chalk it up to just getting older, never suspecting that those vibrant veggies could be partly to blame. Consider the experience of a woman named Mary who loved adding tomatoes to her breakfast. She noticed persistent swelling in her ankles. After eliminating nightshades from her diet, she experienced a significant reduction in swelling. Next, let's turn our attention to those sweet little extras we love to indulge in: jam, ketchup, or orange juice. For those over 60, even modest amounts of added sugar can silently stir up trouble, particularly when it comes to the health of your joints, nerves, and circulatory system. When you enjoy sugary condiments or sweet beverages, your blood sugar spikes rapidly. Your body responds by releasing insulin to stabilize things, but over time, this roller coaster triggers glycation. Sugar molecules latch onto proteins in your tissues, like collagen in your cartilage or the lining of your blood vessels, forming sticky compounds that inflame and degrade these structures. This can lead to a persistent burning in your calves, or prickly tingling in your toes, or a stubborn stiffness in your knees that lingers longer each day, all without an obvious cause. Think about the story of a man named David, who had a glass of orange juice every morning. He began experiencing nerve pain in his feet. After reducing his sugar intake, he noticed a significant improvement in his nerve function. For years, decades even, margarine and butter substitutes were sold to us as a smarter, more modern alternative to traditional butter. But fast forward to today, and the truth has come into sharp focus. Margarine, particularly the kind made with hydrogenated oils, isn't the Eurotrade tea the hero it was made out to be. It might be one of the sneakiest culprits on your breakfast table, especially when eating Eurotrade S sitting alongside you scrambled eggs. What makes margarine and artificial spread so problematic? Eating Eurotrade S all about trans fats. These artificial fats trigger inflammation, stiffen your arteries, and throw a wrench into healthy blood flow. For anyone over 60, this is a serious risk. As we age, our circulation naturally starts to lag, especially in the lower body. Add trans fats to the mix, and eat a Eurotrade S like pouring sludge into an already slowing stream. You might have noticed a tingling numbness in your toes after breakfast, a dull ache in your calves by mid-morning, or a stubborn stiffness in your knees that wasn't a Eurotrade tea there before. These could be your body waving a red flag. Consider the case of a woman named Helen, who used margarine daily. She experienced increasing stiffness in her hands and feet. After switching to olive oil, she found significant relief in her joint pain. If this is resonating and you're finding this helpful, maybe consider exploring more content like this to further enhance your well-being. So, why does this hit older adults harder? ET Eurotrade is all about how our bodies evolve over time. After 60, circulation and digestion start to wind down. Blood dose of Eurotrade tea flows swiftly, and your digestive tract takes its time processing what you eat. This slowdown means inflammatory compounds don't in Eurotrade tea clear out as fast as they once did. Instead, they hang around longer than they should, building up in your legs, knees, ankles, and feet. That's a Eurotrade is why so many seniors deal with leg pain, swelling, stiffness, or that heavy, sluggish feeling when they try to get moving. But here at Eurotrade is the truth. A lot of that discomfort isn't a Eurotrade tea just age. Eat a Eurotrade S tied directly to what's a Eurotrade S landing on your plate every morning. Chronic inflammation isn't a Eurotrade tea loud or obvious at first. Eat a Eurotrade S a slow burn, stacking up quietly with each meal until one day you wake up and your knees groan getting out of bed. Over time, a steady drip of inflammation can sap the strength from your leg muscles, throw off your balance, and make everyday tasks feel harder than they should. The wonderful news is that you don't straight have to bid farewell to eggs. They can remain a cornerstone of your diet, especially as an older adult, when you pair them thoughtfully with the right companions. The real secret lies not in the eggs themselves, but in how you elevate them with ingredients that honor your body Eurostraight needs, foods that soothe your digestive system, quiet inflammation, and keep your blood sugar steady. Consider starting with leafy greens, perhaps spinach, kale, or arugula, lightly sautéed copperite, ed, and olive oil. These vegetables are powerhouses of antioxidants and anti-inflammatory compounds. When you pair these greens with the rich yolk of an egg, you create a breakfast thought Eurostraight both deeply satisfying and surprisingly light. Add avocado, a gift to your heart, brain, and joints. It supports cardiovascular health and helps reduce inflammation. Skip the processed cheese and smear avocado on whole grain toast or scoop it alongside poached eggs. Reach for the earthy sweetness of roasted sweet potatoes or the nutty grains of quinoa instead of white bread. These are complex carbohydrates, slow-burning fuels that win a Eurostraight send your blood sugar on a roller coaster ride. How you prepare your eggs matters too. Ditch the margarine and opt for olive oil. Better yet, explore cooking methods that require no added fats at all, boiling, steaming, or poaching. The beauty of this approach is that eating Eurostraight is not about deprivation. Eating Eurostraight is about crafting meals that align with your body Eurostraight wisdom, supporting it rather than taxing it. With a few changes, you transform breakfast from a routine necessity into a daily act of renewal, a source of strength and healing that helps you feel lighter, more limber, and brimming with possibility. Because breakfast isn't Eurostraight just food on a plate. Eating Eurostraight is a ritual, a small but mighty declaration of self-care. Tomorrow, as you stand at the stove and crack an egg into a pan or gently lower it into simmering water, pause for a moment. Ask yourself, what kind of day do I want to step into? Let that question guide your hand as you reach for the spinach, the avocado, the quinoa. Let your breakfast become a reflection of your intentions, a plate that doesn't Eurostraight just sustain you but empowers you. Because even in your 60s, 70s, 80s, or beyond, you are still the architect of your well-being. You still have the capacity to evolve, to heal, to thrive. And every morning, with every carefully chosen bite, you get to start anew, building a life thought Eurostraight active, vibrant, and rich with purpose, one delicious breakfast at a time. We Eurostraight covered why certain breakfast pairings can trigger inflammation, joint pain, and leg discomfort, especially after 60, and how small swaps can turn your morning meal into a source of strength and healing.